When war is waged, people often begin to search for a reason, something to explain the disarray, something to give it meaning. And then there are those who say that war has no meaning. But is it really meaningless to those who have to live in it? From land and gold, identity and power, to the very soul of a nation, the war in Sudan is about everything. Sudan's war is no longer simply a clash between two military forces, but has grown into a brawl among foreign players who have clawed their way onto the battlefield. The Sudanese armed forces hold the north, Khartoum and the Red Sea, whereas the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, cling to Darfur. Yet behind them lurk external powers, whose ambitions bend the war's course. The first playing the field is the United Arab Emirates, a country who joined the combat in an effort to protect its own interests in agricultural land and gold mining. The UAE, far from neutral, backed the RSF to secure gold and fertile land in Al-Fashaga. The second batter on the field is Egypt, who has become the landmarked X for smuggled and exported gold from Sudan. Before the war, the majority of Sudanese gold rippled to the UAE. But in 2023, Egypt eliminated tax imports. The SAF redirected its gold exports, and by 2024 declared that all shipments, including those smuggled through SAF-controlled borders, be sent to Egypt. This wrestle for resources has turned the war into a proxy struggle, whereby foreign benefactors, more than Sudanese factions themselves, dictate its trajectory. To achieve peace, these foreign players must be pressured by their Sudanese allies to meet at the negotiating table. Two generals fighting for power, or 12 million people displaced, the phrases used to characterize the war. Though these reductions overlook the people who are being wiped out in its path, leaving them to fight for themselves while the actors at the core of the conflict fight each other, unaccountable for the collateral they left behind. But others refuse to leave, like Muhammad Ismail. Ismail chooses to stay in defiance. He says, "A refusal to be erased, a stand against genocide, and a way to preserve dignity." The siege has become a starvation weapon, aided by Chad, Libya, Niger, Colombia, and even the UAE. But despite international neglect, civilians continue to work together to survive. Told partly through the life of Khalid Shatta, we see how colonial policies entrenched divisions between African and Arab Sudanese. Yes, again, the legacy of colonialism proves to have impacted the lives of millions today. So who really gets to be Sudanese? Where Khartoum's Arabs dominated politics and economics, minorities in the Nuba Mountains faced poverty, homelessness, and exclusion. This, like in many other parts of the world, shaped decades of inequality and marginalization. Today's conflict mirrors fractures created by colonial powers, leaving opposition with the question of who the country truly belongs to. To reduce war to nothing is to ignore the humanity lost in consequence. War can never be about nothing. It is hunger, silence, fear, torture, uncertainty. But it is also resilience, defiance, and resistance from those who refuse to be a footnote in the history of the world. Sudan's story is not a tale of two opposing armies, but one layered with greed, the consequences of history, and the cost of humanity. To understand this war is to acknowledge that even in destruction, there is meaning, because people remain.